Every year, we look to the Department of Human Services to learn more about how we are helping residents in our community who are experiencing homelessness. And of course, over the past couple of years, that's really posed a great challenge because of COVID. So, here to help us understand what's happening this year, Mary Riley with Community Programs, the Department of Human Services. So, Mary, last year, has it been 2 winters already that we've been
Yes.
dealing with COVID? My
Yes.
gosh. Um, Things really switched up with how we are helping and assisting those experiencing homelessness. What is this year going to look like?
The same as last year, basically, because the CDC and HUD have given us direction that we shouldn't be putting people in shelters per se, that we should be distancing them and trying to keep them safe. So again, we will be running our hotel program this year. That's our CAST program, our Chesapeake Area Shelter Team. And our folks will be in a local hotel.
Wow.
And the CAST churches usually have them in their churches sleeping overnight and providing dinner and breakfast for them. And this year, like last year, the CAST churches will be providing dinner.
Okay, so they're definitely still involved, but they're not physically housing
Correct.
people.
Correct.
Okay.
Because one thing is we're trying to keep our church volunteers safe,
Yeah.
as well as our individuals that are needing shelter. So we're trying to keep everybody safe according to CDC guidelines.
Okay. What else does this program provide those who are taking advantage of it, those who are experiencing homelessness? So they have a warm place to stay overnight. What else do they get?
So we also have the resource center, the We Care Center for those experiencing homelessness. So they can get resources there as well. So they can go there and use our computers and get help getting employment or signing up for benefits. Sometimes we have, eye exams or can link them to other services in the community. We've taken them also to get their shots, their vaccines.
Wow.
So we make medical appointments available or help them to make those kinds of things happen. So mainly whatever kind of service that they need, we can try and fill that at the Resource Center.
How does someone get connected with both CAST and the Resource Center? If some, at one point there was a bus a few years ago that there was a meeting place and then they would go to the shelter of the week. How does that work now?
Well, now they have to call the Housing Crisis Hotline.
Okay.
And that's the entry point into whatever system we have there. So it could be the hotel program, it could be housing, or it could be a lot of different things, or it could just be resources that are available. Maybe someone doesn't need a shelter per se or housing, but they need other kinds of resources. So the Housing Crisis Hotline can assist with that and providing them and get them, whatever avenue that they need.
Okay.
But that's our entryway.
Okay.
The Housing Crisis Hotline is our entryway. Once you are experiencing homelessness, once you've been on the street or you're not living in your own place or you are not living in a place that's fit for a human being to be living, whether it be in your car or even if you're sleeping on someone's sofa, or somebody's just putting you up in a hotel, like maybe a church, you're considered to be homeless, and so you can call the Housing Crisis Hotline.
Okay. You mentioned the sleeping in the cars, and we've talked about this in years past, how really prevalent this is, that could be a coworker that you work with every single day and you don't know that they go home and sleep in their car. How are you managing those folks? Because maybe they don't need necessarily or want to go to a hotel, but they probably have other needs.
Right, and a lot of times they need resources as well. So we have outreach workers that are visiting with them in their cars. We also have the Agape Feast program, which is providing bag lunches for them, and they're also giving them resources or telling them about the Resource Center or the Housing Crisis Hotline. So there are avenues for them, and we're just fortunate to have the church is still involved through the Agape Feast program, as well as our outreach workers and connecting, both of them. So sometimes the Agape Feast volunteers might see something that is a definite need. They'll contact our outreach workers and vice versa.
Okay.
So it's a good partnership.
Now, this time of year especially, people kind of all of a sudden become aware of the need in the community and they want to lend a hand, they want to help, they want to volunteer, help with funding, supplies. What's the best way for somebody to really make an impact on homelessness?
Right now, our Agape Feast program could really use volunteers, as well as our food pantries in the community, because a lot of times folks that are living in their cars, or they're just on the brink of homelessness, or they're just having a hard time making it, visit our food pantries, our local food pantries. So they need volunteers, they need food support. Our local food bank needs that kind of help. So we also could use mentors. And, I always talk about this, Liz. We need housing.
Yeah.
We need housing.
That's a big bite to take.
Yes.
It
is a big bite to take. But.
So we're going to send those who want to lend a hand right now, either to the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia to be able to actually make some donations, their local food pantry, lots of churches are accepting that help, and then Agape Feast.
Yes.
How do they get to that? Is that Abalist? Is that through the Abalist?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can look on abalist.org,
Okay.
and you can find the list of food pantries.
Oh,
also, through Abalist, you can connect with Agape Feast.
Perfect. Lots of ways to get involved. And now we were talking earlier about how this is mostly for single adults, and we have other resources for families or children.
Correct. So our hotel program is primarily for either single adults or couples.
Okay.
But for kids, which is not a new organization, but new to Chesapeake, also works with families. And there are reach for families.
Okay.
So they will assist families with sheltering, housing, other resources that they might need.
Well, we're going to try and push as much help to these resources, especially this time of year. But we do want to remind everybody that this is an issue all year round.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Are there housing options throughout spring, summer, fall, or?
I don't know what we're going to be doing after March.
Okay.
Right now, our funding for the hotel runs through March.
Okay.
Once we see what CDC guidelines are, and hopefully the pandemic will die down or go away, we'll look for other kinds of resources or ways to shelter our folks.
How has it been over the past 2 years having to deal with this throughout a pandemic? I mean, I'm sure it's always been a challenging, emotional undertaking, but then throw on a pandemic. How has that been?
Right. It's been different, but I think everybody has said that about the pandemic in whatever way they're working. It's been different, but there are a lot of resources that came available during the pandemic, so it made it tolerable and easier for us. Like we didn't have this hotel program before, and we were very dependent upon our churches and our volunteers. And while the pandemic made it not impossible, but a little on edge for volunteers to, do that one-on-one or to house them in the churches, the hotel program certainly was an asset or a valuable resource.
Well, I'm glad we could pull something positive out of it. That's great.
Yes.
Mary Riley with the Department of Human Services, thank you so much, as always, for helping us understand how we can help those experiencing homelessness in our
Thank you,
city.
Liz.